I know this is sad, but V8 4-cylinder. So this is running. I know I said I was gonna put a 351 in that, but this is running, guys. I hope you guys are doing great. So today I'm actually gonna give some of my viewers the thing that they've been asking for. A lot of people have asked me, when are you gonna give us an update on the Roach? Not this Roach, the other Roach, my brother's car. So there's a series on my channel called The Roach to Redemption, and on that series we basically did a cam head intake swap on my brother's car. Alright, so I'm gonna show you guys that car today. Better late than never. Alright, but before that, let me talk about the benefits of having a junkyard at your disposal. Part of that benefit that I mentioned is that you have parts readily available for when you run into a situation like we did. Like right now, I'm pulling out an axle. I know how watching this could lead you to think that the Roach is sitting out there somewhere with a broken axle and that my little brother is waiting for me to come to the rescue. I already came to the rescue weeks ago, and the situation is much worse than I can tell you. I'm just gonna pull this out and show you guys. Well, here's the Roach, guys. Just as good as you remember it, I'm sure. Except, not quite. Something really bad happened to the Roach. Yeah. And that right there is the reason I needed an axle. It didn't have a lot of gear fluid, man. Let's take this last one out. Alright, man, when you're ready to pull it out, just put it out carefully. Here, use the rag so you can hold it with your other hand as you pull it out. Careful, man, because it's cherry.
Oh
yeah. There it is. The broken axle. Alright, let's see if we can get that 5-lug axle inside. I wonder if the C-clip alone is going to be strong enough to hold the axle in while I drag it home. I think so. I mean, just put a little bit of pressure and just move it around and you'll feel it go in. Alright, so here's the car. After we put the axle and the wheel on it, so I'm gonna try to roll it home and we're gonna assess the damage further. I actually dragged it over here last night with my truck using this tow strap. It was only a couple of blocks away, so I just, I did that, and as you can see, it's not quite as you remember it. So the Roach was actually involved in an accident a couple of weeks ago. It is actually pretty bad. I know that in the camera sometimes you can't pick up on things that you can see with your eyes standing in front of the car, but the rear quarter panel is pushed in pretty deep. Alright, and also if you notice over there by the door doesn't close correctly anymore because this moved as well. Alright, you can see the kink right there. The wheel completely broke off, and that's the reason why I took that axle with me, because I know I needed to put an axle on it so we could roll it. While I was taking off the broken axle, I noticed
I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see that, but the torque box there, it's pretty bent up as well, and I'm sure that maybe the frame might have been moved a little bit because the mufflers are now touching it. So yeah, the mufflers are now touching it, so it might have moved a little bit too. Yeah, I think the most sane thing to do here would be to part out the car, use whatever is useful, and sadly say goodbye to it. So I would like to tell you exactly what happened, but due to the insurance still doing its investigation and stuff, I won't be able to tell you until all that stuff is done, but I promise that I will tell you guys. I know this is sad, guys. I mean, it might not be sad to you guys, but definitely to me, because this was my brother's first car. I sold him this car. I remember I picked it up for it was like $1,200, and I put work into it because at the point where I got it, it wasn't running. So I got it running, and my brother happened to be looking for his first car around that time, and I kept him from buying a Camaro. I told him, hey man, I got a car for you, and I sold him this car for $2,000. And yeah, you know, it lasted him 4 years. That's longer than I had my first car. That's longer than anyone thought this thing would last, because, you know, other conditions it was when I got it. Anyway, so 4 years later, here we are, sadly having to say goodbye to it. I'm actually gonna record a process of taking it apart, getting the engine onto the notchback and all the stuff that's good on it, the seats, you know, all that stuff. I'm gonna sell off whatever I think I can get money for, and we'll see what happens from then. But yeah, this car is a pretty big part of my channel, because the head intake and cam swap that we did on it actually got me a lot of views and subscribers. And I wanted to show you guys that sometimes, you know, stuff like this happens, and you got to be able to move on from it and recover. I helped my brother get another car already, and it's not a Mustang, but I told him to get an Explorer with a 5-liter in case we do find a shell. You know, we can just swap the motor from his Explorer into that shell. So, you know, he's a Mustang guy, he's gonna want a Mustang eventually, so I did it with that in mind. All right, thanks for watching, guys.